Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda Anthem.
It's your boy.
Okay, let's get into this question. What is the one thing you wish you knew in business 4 years ago that you know now?
I know it's a tough one. It's always tough to pare down to one.
Oh man, that's tough. I guess something that I would. I mean, everything that's happened, it happens at this perfect time, right? Like I think everything in life prepares us for these moments. I think one of those things that had I known, I think it could have streamlined things. I mean, I think we're doing great, respectfully. Is having systems, right? Like nobody teaches you about systems inside of business, right? Everybody wants to have a successful business and everybody wants to do great, but nobody ever tells you exactly what steps are needed to achieve these things. And there's really for us, it wasn't a mental. We kind of just figured things out as we go. Obviously, Shadi has a finance background from education. So business formation wasn't something that we knew. We just kind of learned. So I guess that would be something. But that being said, it's like, I'm happy that we did because it forced us to learn, right? And that made us better entrepreneurs, that made us better as leaders and better businessmen.
Yeah.
Heidi, what about you? I know it's a tough question.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I wish I would have knew 4 years ago that I know now, just success loves speed. And you just got to act on it. Whatever you got in your mind, just act on it right away. It doesn't really matter if it works out or not. Elon Musk, they had this whole grand thing for this Tesla truck, the armored truck, and they threw a ball and said the windows was indestructible and it broke the window. It was a whole laughing stock thing. Long story short, the truck still hasn't come out and nobody cares. That's what I realized, that you have to minimize your failures and maximize your achievements. When you win, you gotta like maximize that. And when you lose, just act like nothing happened. You learn from it, but you just sweep it under the rug, act like it never happened, and then move on. That happens all the time. Apple's had failures. Elon Musk has had failures, but they don't harp on it. They're not magnifying it, right? Move on. And when you win, make sure that everybody is aware of your win.
The victory.
Yeah.
Victory.
Yeah, basically, that's my biggest. Jay-Z has had albums that didn't do well. Like, you know what I mean? He's had songs that didn't do well.
Royce apparently thinks he has a bunch of them. Shout out my guy Royce.
Yeah, I got a few that I haven't heard yet myself.
Unreleased tracks.
Unreleased tracks. Shout out to him. So that would be my biggest takeaway, man. Just do it. Just do it. Like Nike says, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. As a follow-up question, how many tasks roughly do you guys get done a day individually?
Man, I used to be a lot better with my to-do list. Now, I delegate a lot. Honestly, between like Abdullah, shout out to Abdullah, who's on the show, shout out to my sister, who's my personal manager of my life. I try to delegate as much task as possible and only really try to do the stuff that's what I learned too early in business is you should only be doing the stuff that only you should do. Everything else, you should pay somebody else to do. That's a scaling model. You try and do too many things and you're going to stay small. You have to pay other people. As soon as you get enough money, reinvest that money into people. Pay whatever somebody else can do, pay them to do it. Meaning, like somebody else can answer emails. Somebody else can file paperwork. Somebody else can go to the store for you. Every single thing almost in life, 95% somebody else can do. There's some things that other people can't do for you. Like right now, we're the personalities of this show, are us three. Unless we just, have somebody else come in and then we just become producers, this is what we need to do. Even like content. I have other people that make content, but there's some content that I need to still make myself because nobody else can actually do it the way I want it to be done. Yeah. So the few things that nobody else can do, focus your energy on that. Everything else, delegate.
Great lesson. Great lesson.
Powerful lesson. How many tasks? I don't know, man. And we had this conversation the other day on the phone, and I was like, the things that nobody's thinking about doing, that's what I'm kind of doing. Yeah. So there's no glorifying it. It's just like these things need to be done. And I think like amongst the three of us, myself, Mike, and Shadi, like we all kind of know what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? So some things like we can delegate, but some things are our responsibilities. And so like if there's a question that I have about content, that I know to go to. If there's anything that involves like ad placements and money, they know like, all right, well, I'm tracking that for us. And if there's anything that involves like tech, we know who we're going to. And so there's certain things that we're just going to do on a daily basis. There's no number for it. Whatever has to be done is getting done.
And I think that that's the value of partnerships also, where it's like you said, like him and Mike, they're much more on the technical side. Like they track, I don't even look at the revenue. I just ask them like what revenue, how much revenue came in from YouTube this month. I don't really be looking at it. Because I feel like I'm more of a creative and I have to be able to be in a creative zone. So sometimes like I could just spend hours just thinking or going to brunch with somebody, having a conversation. These are things that is actually extremely important, right? But it's like I have to have time to be the creator. I'm
the thing is on the genius, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm the creative.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be the creative and the business. We wear both hats, all of us.
Yeah.
Because most of the time the talent is just the talent, and then the business guys run it. But we're the talent and we're the business side. But that's not easy to do. So being that we're talent and we still have to be creatives, I have to just focus on being creative a lot of times. And so I delegate a lot of the other stuff. And then Troy and Mike, they do like the day-to-day operations. And I could just take walks in the park and just,
let them think.
The time is needed. Those think tanks are needed.
It's important. Like even that, like I remember I told that story early on, like I was trying to create content. I was just like, why am I doing this? Like just send them the content, let them do that. Let me go find something else. So like when I said like business, if I knew the systems, I had to learn these things. I had to learn how to actually figure out how the business works. What is your role going to be in this business, right? And making sure that everything is streamlined, to make sure that we ain't missing anything. So like that was a process in itself. Because the way he creates is not like the way he creates now is not the same way he used to create. Like he's always evolving how he's creating. So even learning that, I was like, all right, well, he's not interested in those things anymore. More the content is about us. And so like, yeah, let's scale back on how many things we send because like his creative process has changed. Just learning that, like not even talking to him, but just learning it, how the creative process is looking. I'm like, all right, I'm studying. I see how he's moving. I see how he's moving. I bet. Let me scale back on those things. Let's focus on this.
Have you read the book, The One Thing? That's one of my favorite books.
I have that book.
Gary Keller.
I haven't. Who wrote it?
Gary Keller.
Yeah, is it right here in my book list?
All right, check it out.
The biggest lesson is like focus on the one thing that will have the biggest impact on your business or life over the next 10 years and like cut everything else away. That's what for me, like spend all my time looking at charts, finding ways to get better entries. Because I know if I can master that, everything else flows. But I think you make a great point. Like you need time away to be able, that's why even when Kanye went to Wyoming and he used to go to Hawaii to record the album, you need those moments to be able to just think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for everyone in corporate, like you notice they tie you up in all those like meetings that mean nothing, the email chains. That's to stop you from thinking of your exit plan and how to get away. So please carve out at least 1 or 2 hours a day just to brainstorm on a business on how to be better.
That's a fact. Yeah. And shout out to my wife. She's gonna kill me. She allows me to actually do all those things that I'm doing. Because like I said, she's home making sure that everything's right here, which obviously frees up my mind to say I don't have to worry about that because I know it's taken care of. And she works with the company too. So shout out to her. Our anniversary's coming up. I love you.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Don't kill me.
So what's it for you?
Find ways to give more while using automation to help. And then part 2 would probably be find an indestructible business model. I think I finally like cracked that. You touched on it, like on us being executives that is talent and also can write checks for talent. But I think given this upcoming recession, and even when Apple going to a subscription model, it just really showed even they are worried about revenue, top line revenue and sustainability. I think everyone needs to hunker down more on finding a model that even in the worst case scenario, you'll be okay. One of my old mentors used to tell me, like, you have to be able to make big money even in a bad economy with small numbers. The only concern I have for Netflix is the amount of debt that they have, and it's like how long they had a small price increase and people went crazy. I'm like, is it a lot of money to pay $14 a month opposed to going to the movies and paying $150 on average? But the value chain is not equal. And I think the companies that will create those indestructible business models will do the best over these next 100 years. So those are like the two major takeaways. Like find ways to give more at scale, and then make sure I focus on building an indestructible business model.
This that. Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that. Red Panda Anthem.
Rap Panda, what's
This
good?
that. Red Panda Anthem.
Your
Whole
boy.
clique going up. I know they can't stand it.